guys. Well, tonight we're going to make some energy bars. I usually make these and have them all through the week. They're really easy, they taste really good, and they have a lot of good ingredients in them. Walnuts and raisins and kashi and all kinds of different things. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to make them. Okay, and first of all, you're going to chop almost everything up. And what you're going to start with is Kashi Crunch, okay? And then you're going to have 2 cups of that, and you're going to chop it up really fine. So I chopped it up. You could use a blender, you could use a food processor, you could use a food chopper, whatever you need to do. And just, you want it to be pretty fine. What I'm using in this is just the basics. You could switch out whatever you want. If you don't like raisins, you could put something else. It has walnuts in it. It has Wheatgerm in it. It has flaxseeds in it. It has peanuts in it, and some dried fruit. It all depends on what you like, what you want to put in, substitute whatever, but use the same amount. So we're going to put the kashi in first, and then I have a cup of peanuts, which I chopped those up as well. So we're going to use a cup of those. Okay, and then sunflower seeds, I chopped those up. I pre-measured all this after I chopped it up. And then walnuts. We're going to use flax seeds. Now flax seeds are just awesome. And a lot of times when you get flaxseed, if you're going to put it in yogurt and cottage cheese or anything like that in protein shakes, you probably want to grind it up, putting it in the blender. Because it's kind of hard. They're little tiny seeds and they're just kind of hard to digest if you're going to put them in something other than this. And then we're going to use some Wheatgerm. So this is all good stuff here. Some raisins. If you don't like raisins, leave them out. Put a cup of something else in there. Okay? And then dried fruit. What I'm using for dried fruit, now this could get a little bit dicey because when I went to buy all these ingredients, I bought them at a health food store. You could buy, a lot of the grocery stores have things in bulk now, and you could buy them in bulk at the grocery store. I just bought the amounts I need. It probably cost about $10 or $12 to make this recipe, and it lasts you all week. So you figure, you know, a couple bucks a day, not bad. And one bar really fills you up, and they're really good for you. With the dried fruit, a lot of times the dried fruit, it depends on what you're getting, has a lot of sulfur in it, has a lot of additives, a lot of sugar, so you need to be careful with the dried fruit. If you ever look at banana chips, they have a lot of sulfates in them, and so do apricots, so you just kind of be careful on what you're going to get. I got some dried cherries and some dried papaya, and I know the papaya has sugar in it, but it doesn't have, it was sulfate free. Okay, so just keep an eye on that because you think you're buying something good, and if it has all that extra preservatives in it, kind of defeating the purpose a little bit. And then I just had some other dried fruit. I just bought a bag. Sunkist, I think, sells it, or I'll put it in the sidebar with just dried fruit, and it has no, you know, not all the other stuff in it. And then you're going to use a half a cup of Splenda or some kind of sweetener. I used this organic sweetener that I bought, and I'll actually put the name of it on the sidebar. And it just doesn't have all the other, you don't want to use Equal or, you know, some of those other sweeteners that have aspartame and all that kind of stuff in it, because not good for you. And you're just going to use a half a cup of that, okay? The other thing you're going to use, you're going to have 2 other ingredients in here, and this is, these are so good. You can use a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter, and it's natural peanut butter, so when you take the top off, a lot of times there's a lot of oil on the top. You just want to mix that together. I actually had a little bit of a fight with it, so I took it out and mixed it together in another bowl. And that's going to go in this bowl. All of this is going to get mixed together, okay? And then we're going to put it in a pan and form it, and we'll be good to go. The other thing we're going to put in here is we're going to put marmalade, and we're going to use orange marmalade. Now, when I went to buy it today, there was only orange marmalade, okay? So, and as I said before, you could substitute with whatever you want, but a couple of suggestions that I have. You really don't want to use jelly, because jelly is made from juice, so it's going to be a little bit too thin. If you want to use jam, jam has a lot of big fruit pieces in it. So I'm thinking if you can't find marmalade, a fruit spread is probably the way that you want to go. And if you want to get something that's sugar-free, go for it. So, but I did find marmalade, so that's what we're going with. So you could, you know, it could depend on what other dried fruit you put in it to what kind of marmalade. I think last time I used a fruit spread that was sort of mixed berries, and it was really awesome. You could do a lot with these bars. You could do a lot of different varieties with them. So we're going to use a cup of this marmalade. And between the marmalade and the peanut butter, that's going to be kind of your glue to have all these other seeds and grains and fruits and everything kind of mixed together, or stick together rather. So that's going to go in there as well. Now we're going to mix this all together. And that's where the work's going to come in. And you're mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing and mixing for a couple minutes. So if you didn't work out today, you'll be good to go. What you're going to end up doing is having to mix it with your hands. Okay? So mix it with your hand for a while. And then, you know, it's still crummy looking, but it'll be fine. And you're going to use a 9x13 pan, square pan of any sort. If you have to use 2 pans, it's just this size, fits this, whatever you need to do, whatever shape, size, whatever you want to do. Okay? And then we're just going to pour this in here, and then we're going to pat it down. Okay? And then it gets kind of glued together between the peanut butter and the marmalade. But they're really yummy, and they're really good for you. And relatively, you know everything that's going in there. And if you eat protein bars and stuff a lot, you will leave them for these. I promise. You heard it here first. So just put them all in your pan. You're going to spread them out. And you're going to just press them down. Now I put these in the refrigerator. And the only thing that would probably need to be refrigerated after it's open is possibly the marmalade. Everything else really wouldn't need to be. But I just out of habit put them in the refrigerator. So that's entirely up to you. So after you put them in your pan, you have to let it sit a little bit because it just needs to kind of marry itself. And so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to cut them 7 across and 4 down. Okay, so you end up with 28 squares. About 275 to 300 calories a piece, ballpark, because it depends on what you're putting in it and if you're using, you know, sugar-free things or different nuts or whatever. But they're around 300 calories for one piece. So we will check it out. Very awesome. So what I like to do after I cut them up, okay, take a piece of wax paper, small piece of wax paper, put one in the middle, fold it, and then just stick them in a Ziploc bag and just grab them and go. And they are just awesome. I brought them to work the other day. All the girls loved them. They really fill you up. You can control everything that goes into them, and they're awesome. So until next time, we'll see you.